So, my dad passed away in 2015. We weren't talking, and it took a month for his family to track me down. Before I ever knew he was gone, I started hearing from him in heaven. It consumed me. How is communication with the other side even possible? I left my corporate gig, studied with spiritual teachers on every coast, and worked with my angels to figure out the answers. Today, my mission is teaching you how to raise your vibration, shift your thoughts, trust your intuition, develop your unique spiritual gifts, and connect with your loved ones and angels on the other side. Friends, when you have these tools, life really does become heaven on earth. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Angels and Awakening podcast. I'm your host, Julie Jancius, and today we are here with Ashley, who's here to share her angel stories. Ashley, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, of course. So I'm just going to have you take it away.
All right, well, I can certainly do that. All right, so my first angel story takes place back in 1999. I was 13 years old. I had a dream that my father and I were standing on opposite sides of each other on a hill. I was at the top of the hill and he was at the bottom. We ran to each other and embraced. My father continues to tell me it is my time to go. When I woke up, I remember thinking that the dream had made an impact on me, but I ended up not thinking of it again for a while. About maybe a month or two later, my father's work called my grandmother, stating he failed to show up for his shift. When my grandmother had gathered my brother and I and hopped into the van to head to my father's condo, I just knew deep down in my heart he had passed away. I remember telling my grandmother, well, maybe he crossed over the border in a Tijuana with some friends to help calm her down, but I just knew he had passed. When we entered the condo, we did find out he indeed passed away. Maybe about a week later, I had woken up in my sleep. It was dark in the room. When I look up, I see this beautiful golden outline of my father. It was bright, gold, and sparkly. I stared at it, and he was smiling at me. I closed my eyes and opened them back up, and the outline was still there. I ended up actually closing my eyes a second time, and when I opened them up, he was gone. My second story takes place within this past year, so in 2021. The first instance, we were outside playing hide and go seek. We live on an acre with a creek in the back. During hide and go seek, I was having trouble finding my oldest daughter. I said, "Come out," and she did not come out. I started to walk around the house and I see a red cardinal just sitting there on a tree limb. The red cardinal and I lock eyes. This bird was looking at me with what I could describe as urgency. The bird looked around the house and then looked at me again. He did this a second time. He looked around the house and then he looked back at me again. This repeated about 2 more times, and then I see my daughter walk around the house. The second instance also involved another red cardinal. I was in the house cleaning the master bedroom, and my 2 daughters were in the living room. They were supposed to have been cleaning. In the middle of cleaning, I decided to check in on the girls in the living room. When I had entered the living room, there was a red cardinal sitting on the outside window ledge, watching the girls play in the living room. When I see the bird, it looks at me and flies away. After I check on the girls, I go back to cleaning the master bedroom. After a while, I decide to check on the girls, and as I enter the living room, I see the same red cardinal sitting on the window ledge watching my girls. When the bird sees that I am there, he just flies away. I felt like it could have been an angel watching over my girls. So that's pretty much it.
Oh, I love that. So both your dad, right? Like him coming in to check on the girls. Talk to me a little bit about that, because your dad still says that you have some like pain in the heart chakra from that day of like finding him that day. But he shows me this vision of like your mind tries to go back there sometimes. Like you're not trying to do this. I don't want you to mistake that. What he says is that your brain just kind of goes back to that day at times. He said, I need you to understand that you can train your brain to go to a different memory instead. Okay, because he said we have so many of them, right? Different, like, beautiful memories. He said, pick the one, two, or three that are just absolutely your favorites. Okay. And what he wants you to do is, like, when your mind tries to go back to that day, because there's still some PTSD in that heart chakra, he said, we can either anchor into that moment, right, when we're shown it, or we can say, no, 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 we're not going to go to that day. Instead, I'm going to see this as me needing to connect with dad. And
Mhm.
instead, I'm going to think of a more delicious, yummy, positive memory that I have of him and anchor into that instead. Because he said at those times, your soul is just really craving and missing being near his energy, or maybe wanting to share something. And a lot of times there's this subconscious where we're go, 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 help with the kids, do this, do
Mhm.
that. But it's really a message in and of itself. When something comes into our mind or when we feel something, either we need something or the other side needs something. So kind of getting into
Okay.
it and saying, okay, what is my subconscious trying to tell me here? What is my soul self, my intuition trying to tell me here? What do I need? Okay, maybe I need validation from dad that I'm on the right track, and
Yes.
being able to
Okay.
connect with him on that.
Okay. Yeah, I completely agree. 100%.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any questions for them?
Oh my. So the red cardinal thing, because I do see the red cardinals at my house a lot. And then also when I'm driving, he just kind of like swoop on in. Is that usually like a spirit guide or past family members?
No, that's really dad a lot too, because you don't see the two cardinals together. You just see the one solo. Like every time they keep showing me it,
Yes.
it's like one solo. So know that that's dad
Uh-huh.
too, that they can come around in many different ways. You have
Okay.
asked him multiple times to take care of the girls, to be there for the girls, to make sure that they're safe and secure. And so he comes a lot, he said, around with the Cardinals when there's times
Uh-huh.
again, that you're maybe needing to hear from him. The girls are okay. The girls are okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Very
You
good.
see the number signs though too, because he's like coming
Oh,
in every direction with different signs for you.
that might have been the third thing. Yes. So lately, I've been, since listening to your podcast, I've, I've become aware of these numbers. And it's for a while, it was 333. And then I'll usually go and look what that means. And then I ended up getting a promotion shortly after.
Yeah.
And then lately, as of lately, it's been 111, like 4 ones or maybe 3 ones, and then 222.
So, for anybody who's new to the podcast, Joanne's Sacred Scribes Number Index is this amazing resource where you can go in and your number signs. Like, if you're a person who sees numbers as a sign from the other side, your numbers are going to change over time, because as we evolve in our life and come into new lessons, what Spirit is saying through those new numbers is, okay, now there's a new piece that you need to connect with, a new piece of the puzzle that we need you to have. So what you can do is go over to Google and search Joanne's Sacred Scribes Number Index. She's literally channeled out the meaning for
Oh.
all of the different numbers. The other thing that they're trying to do with that for you specifically, though, Ashley, is help
Mhm.
you to kind of awaken out of your egoic mind consciousness and into your soul self consciousness, your intuition. Because what happens is, to awaken in general means to really come out of this assumption that our thoughts are who we are, and really step into this realization that there is an observer of our thoughts, there's a higher consciousness. And that higher consciousness is our intuition. And I believe our intuition is really our soul's thought system from the other side. So the more that you see the numbers, the more that they're just trying to they're clicking with you faster. Okay, she's seeing it. She's connecting. That thought that she's thinking isn't her connecting to your soul self. And what is your intuition trying to tell you?
So I've noticed when I'll have a certain thought, that's when I will see the numerology for sure.
Yeah, give me an example.
Oh gosh, probably work would be the biggest one. When I'm just at work and I'm well, I'm starting to get run down or just whatever the scenario is.
Yeah.
That's when it'll usually pop up the most.
That's awesome. So they're showing you that you don't have to feel run down, that you can get that boost of energy, that you can tap into that oneness, really connect with divine vibration and come back into your soul's energy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm so excited for you and your journey.
Oh, thank you, Jill.
Fun.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been quite the journey and I'm loving every minute of it.
Yay. Yay. Well, thank you so much for taking time to be over here. I will be praying for you and your girls, add you into my prayer jar of everybody that I pray for. And thanks for being on the show. I so appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. And I appreciate you in the podcast as well.
Oh, of course. If you have angel stories, we would love to hear them and would love to have you on the show. You can email them in through the website, theangelmedium.com. Thanks, everybody. Bye. I've got a few announcements. This month's winner of the drawing is Mackenzie Payne, who gets one free session with me. Email me a screenshot of your 5-star positive review on Apple Podcasts, Google Business, or my Facebook page for your chance to win next month. Details are in the show notes. Friends, in the Angel membership in June 2021, Archangel Raphael and I are teaching you Self-Energy Healing 101 and Chakras 101. You'll learn how to give yourself an energy healing session, techniques to keep your energy clear, and how you can heal your own energy field. To join this course live or replay at any time, sign up for the Angel membership program today. Also, a new class of the Angel Reiki School begins on June 1st. Join this separate program to develop your unique spiritual gifts and become an Angel Reiki Master. I'm still offering private readings. To book one, sign up for our weekly Angel email. Once a month, you'll get an email that contains a link to book your session online. One more thing, I am loving spending time with you live and answering your questions over on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Follow me on social and our newly launched YouTube channel for tons of new video content. Thanks for your support and for sharing this podcast with your people. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Angels and Awakening podcast. I'm your host, Julie Jancius, and today we are here with Maggie. Maggie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, of course. So you're here to tell your angel stories, and so I'm going to have you just take it away.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you.
Of course.
Okay, so with my angel stories, I figured it would be best to begin in chronological order, starting with my grandpa's passing when I was, I want to say 13. My grandparents and I are very close, and they played a huge part in raising me. I do remember at his funeral, my cousins and all of my family, we were all gathered around his casket, and we each kind of placed something individually sentimental to us in with him. And once we kind of finished the burial and the process was coming to an end, we noticed a huge flock of geese fly over, within the same time frame. And he was a huge goose and duck hunter. So we were like, oh, of course, that makes perfect sense. He's just telling us that he's okay, Yeah. And I kid you not, from that day moving forward, every single milestone in my life, I have always, first day of school, graduations, or even when I'm deeply having, like I'm having a really hard time, those geese always never fail to appear to me one way or another. It's something else, that's for sure. And ever since then, I've always had an awareness that he and I have a very close connection. And honestly, it's grown even more since he's been in heaven. And now, kind of moving a little bit more forward, when I had my spinal fusion surgery, I was 16 when that happened. And so it's a pretty big surgery to have. And the first night or two when I was in the hospital, I wasn't able to get any sleep. They were having such a hard time getting my pain under control. And my dad he was staying the night with me. He had woken up in the morning kind of, and he had noticed that I was finally asleep. But then he also noticed that there were two angels hovering over me. And one was above me, and he didn't recognize that one really. But then there was one sitting with me, and she was holding my hands. And he described her as being my great grandma. And her and I've always felt, I met her for like a couple months when I was born, but I've always felt such a close energy connection to her, because it was always said she was so excited to meet me that she kept herself alive until I was born, because she passed away. I was born in May, so she passed away the summer after I had been born, because they say that she, kept herself going. She had a lot of health issues. So I felt always very close to her. So I always found that very special, that she was the one that helped me when I was in that situation. So I thought that was cool.
That's amazing. That is incredible. Have you ever asked your dad? Because I'd say that when I do this work, it's like 99% women, right? Like, and I don't think that men are against it, but I just don't often hear from them as much. But I love when I do. Have you talked to him at all about like when he saw them? Like, what did they look like, or what did he see?
When he saw them, he said that they were both glowing, and that when he saw my grandma, he could see her, like she was her younger self, but it's like he looked at her and he saw clear as day so that's his grandma, my great grandma. So he saw her without a doubt. He knew exactly who she was. Wow. And he said that they were bright and beautiful, and the room was glowing, and and then once he kind of like came to a little bit more, they had gone, but it was just really amazing.
Wow. I love that. Okay. So keep going, and then we'll talk more at the end.
Okay, perfect. So then just fast forwarding a few more years, I had some certain traumatic events transpired in 2018, and I had completely lost myself. For 2 years, I lived like this, and I, kind of feeling that, not having any purpose. My mental health was I had always kind of struggled with that, but it really, really brought itself to fruition that year. I eventually, just the very negative thoughts, and my depression was just becoming so overwhelming that one day I remember I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I was like, this is it, Maggie. Like, you need to something's got to give, otherwise this is not going to get better. And I remember I looked on, I never listened to podcasts ever, like that. I just never was into that kind of thing. And I was on Apple, like the iTunes podcast, and I was just kind of scrolling through, I was like, anything, I don't like something that can just kind of like help give me some directions. And then I found you, and I listened to a couple of your episodes, and something kind of clicked in my head, and it just started to make sense. Like life a little bit started to make sense. And I was like, you know what? Okay. Like this is a sign. This has to be some kind of sign. I'm going to get help. So I called my doctor. I was able to get scheduled with a therapist, and the therapist that I had found, I got scheduled with him, and it was 1 week before he closed his practice and 6 months before he was due to retire. And he changed my life. So without him, I don't know how I would have been able to get to this point. So I always thought that was them helping me, because I literally, without him, that he like totally changed the game for me completely. So I always,
amazing.
Yes, I always look at that as kind of like, they were kind of like nudging me in the right direction, because I found you, and that happened to me within the same day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Oh, I love that.
Yes, it was really, really special. And then it's like once I started to really work on myself, it's kind of like the clouds were parting and my angel signs, I felt like I'm like, okay, they've been in front of my face. I just haven't really been able to see them. And so then I noticed like 1111. I know you always talk about that one. That's a huge one. And I see that one a lot, especially whenever, depending upon what I'm thinking about, like if I'm, questioning myself or really not quite sure what to do, I'll notice that a lot. One of my friends had passed away. She passed away in 2019. I see her a lot with those numbers, as well as monarch butterflies. I see her a lot with that too. And I never would have noticed that before. There was one specific time as well with the geese after all of this, like after I've made this progress, and I was having a really hard time, and I was kind of I always talk to my grandpa out loud all the time. And I was just, expressing to him just that I'm struggling a lot. I don't know what's going on. And I was outside, it was winter, and it was pitch black. And I felt extremely connected to him at that moment. And it was unlike anything I had ever felt before. And it was, I'm trying to think, yeah, it was pitch black. And I heard there was one goose over me, and it honked. As I was literally having this conversation with him, I'm talking to him. I'm like, Grandpa, I know that you're here. And I said, but I just kind of like, I just really need to know that, that I have you with me. And then that happened to me.
Yeah.
At the same time.
That's amazing. And I need to tell everybody, because everybody in the angel membership always says this, and I just have not had the time to go back, and I feel so terrible. Sure. That phrase, I know, like I know, like I know, I didn't make that up. That comes from a Black woman who said it in the movie The Secret, which I watched, right when it came out. I don't know if that was like 2005 or 2006. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I've been saying it ever since then, but it's not my saying, it's hers. Right, so I need to find out what her name was so that I can give her credit. Just like,
yeah, it's a beautiful saying. Yeah. It's a beautiful saying, truly. It's just so perfect.
It is, because that's like the energy of it. Like when you just know.
Yes, that is exactly true.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about a couple of things. Yeah, your grandfather, 110%, that geese energy. There's a couple of things though. He keeps talking about you're very visual when it comes to what you're seeing. And so he brings this in, but your friend also brings this in a lot. Like, let's say you're going about your day, right? Mm-hmm. And you just stop in your tracks and you have like this picture come into your mind, or you have this mini movie reel come into your mind. Let's say it's of a past memory with them, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. This happens all the time, right?
Yes, all the time.
What people often assume is that it's them just having this memory come into their energy. But what the angels say and what our loved ones say on the other side is that this is a sign too. This is them trying to get our attention and our awareness to the fact that, okay, we're going about our day, we're asking for answers, and they're trying to bring one in.
Okay.
So when you stop and you say, okay, Grandpa, I just saw like the memory of us together. Yeah. You're here. I imagine giving you like the hugest, warmest hug. What is it that you want me to know?
Okay.
Oftentimes the scene will change. Okay. So you're not seeing that old memory anymore. Now it's going to transition. And let's say like you had been, because he's talked about your purpose a lot as you've been talking. This is something that he wants you to understand too. And he's standing next to Archangel Raphael as he's saying this, is that oftentimes people feel that their purpose is going to come to them like the clouds part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and then like the sunshine is just beaming on you, and you hear like God's voice say,
right,
Maggie, this is what your purpose is.
Really good. That over.
Yeah, that's not how it works. And a lot of people are like, the other thing that I'll hear a lot of people say
Mhm.
is like, yeah, I have like some direction that they've been telling me to go, but I don't have it exactly lined out how they want me to do it. So I'm just waiting for that. And it's like, wait, no,
Yeah.
no, this isn't how this works. So you get nuggets of information,
Mhm.
you get droplets of information, right? And it's not going to come all in one big book. It's going to be little clues,
Mhm.
right? That you can take and piece together.
Exactly. Okay.
And if anybody's wondering how to figure this out, this is why I wrote the whole course on Find Your Purpose, because I worked with the angels. You work with a different angel each week in there to like really dive deep and gather all these clues over 3 weeks. And in the fourth week, you put it all together of what it all means.
Mhm.
But what they're saying to tell you is your grandpa says you have to anchor in. You have to believe, you have to trust, you have to anchor in and allow yourself to keep telling your egoic mind,
Mhm.
I have big, big purpose in this lifetime.
Mhm.
I have big, big purpose in this lifetime. He said, your ego works with you in a way where it wants you to believe
Mhm.
that you are going to struggle your whole life.
Mhm.
And he said, you're not meant to struggle your whole life. Okay. You're going to
Okay.
have challenges. Everybody has challenges, right? But it's not meant for you to struggle with this your whole life. It's meant for you to find your way through so that you can teach others the road to healing. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, when you do this,
Mhm.
who you are is in and of itself hope to other people around you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
Okay.
What is it that you do for work right now?
I work in a hospital.
Okay.
So I do like admitting and that kind of thing. With
Okay.
ER.
But you've been thinking about doing some other things.
Yes. Hmm.
Talk to me about those.
So I'm kind of actually in the process of being admitted to a new program for, it's for neurodiagnostics. So I would be helping like with seizure studies or brain mapping and surgeries. That's kind of what they teach you how to do. So that's a brand new thing that I'm just kind of diving into a little bit.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. So he's so excited for you on this. He says it's 100% because like he's showing you going in this other direction. He's so, so incredibly proud of you. His wife is still here because he keeps talking about her. Oh my God. Like his love for her is just, there isn't a moment where his energy isn't by her. It's always split. Like if I see him by you, it's because part of him's still by her.
Yeah, they were best friends.
Yeah.
Hmm. And like I always tell people that she's my soulmate.
Yeah.
Like like her and I have a very, very like him, but her and I connection is just like on another level almost. Because she's 93, right? So she's like been my best friend my whole life. Yeah. Hmm.
So your grandfather says she's stubborn and she's not going anywhere anytime soon. But he said that you've been feeling like on your heart that you should either like take some voice memo, like record you two talking, or you guys should be like doing the videos or something. He said you need to do it sooner rather than later.
Okay. You're so, Julie, that's crazy. I have been doing that more.
Get
Like
out of here.
when I talk to her on the phone lately, I'll have like my iPad and then I'll record our conversations. And I just started to do that. I do have like her voicemail saved to a drive, but lately I've been like I'll record our conversations on the phone, or even when I'm sitting with her, like I'll sometimes, I'll have like a video of her or something. Like I've been doing that more lately. So that's crazy that you said that because I've just started to do that. Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
Well, and he said this twice. He said, sometimes as they're looking out for the podcast audience of like, okay, because they know, right? Not just you and I talking right here and right now in this present moment, but they know everybody who's going to listen to it in the future. They said, if you listening felt like that was meant for you too, they said, act upon it and you won't regret it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. He keeps coming in talking about your dad too and how proud your dad is of you.
Oh, my dad's him and I are close as well.
Yeah. He also has said twice that like people get their gifts passed down, like your dad being able to see angels was passed down. But he said this twice. It's not just your dad that's gifted, it's your mom too. Like you get it from both sides. So you kind of have this double whammy.
Oh, that's amazing. I knew my dad had it, and I always sort of felt that my mom did, but she just never, I don't know that she's really tapped into it yet. But my dad, definitely, I've always kind of felt that from him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. He also said one more thing to tell you. The other angel that your dad saw was your guardian angel.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's amazing. Because, we could never figure out like who exactly that would be.
That's awesome. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for being here today and for spending this time with us. It was such a blessing to get to meet you.
Yeah, this was wonderful, Julie. Your podcast really I just love the positivity that you bring from that. And ever since, and when my friend had passed away, I definitely turned to this podcast too, just for, some little extra positivity in the day.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, keep working with that counselor because it sounds like he's doing a wealth of good too. And that's amazing. It's amazing to have like your earthbound spirit team that you create here and that can support you physically every day too.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Well, thank you, Julie.
You too, Maggie. Oh, my love.
Yes. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Beautiful souls, I'm so excited to announce that my book on angels and how they're working miracles in your life will be available on Amazon fall of 2021. If you're listening on or after fall of 2021, check it out. Friends, if you'd like to work with me each week, my angel membership program is perfect for you. You can join at any time and you get access to past courses. In 2021, I'll be teaching you about a new topic each month. We started the year in February with a course on oneness and raising your vibration. March is angel communication, how to hear your angels. April is trusting your intuition. May is knowing your soul's purpose. June is working with Archangel Raphael to learn self-energy healing techniques and Chakras 101. July is rewriting the stories you've been holding on to. August is all about rewiring your mind to move past blocks. September is energetically working through ancestral trauma. October is working with your inner child and Archangel Michael.